The arch at the bottom of the world. Day 402. That's what the chronometer says. Day 402 of the solar rotation at Bathysphere Station Distinct. I am currently sitting at a depth of 11,000 meters beneath the surface of Glaise 667 Caec. It is an ocean planet, a world of endless churning black water wrapped in a thick atmosphere of crushing clouds. I am the only human being on this planet. My job is simple. Monitor the seismic sensors, catalog the bioluminescent fauna, and ensure the fusion core keeps the water pressure from crushing this titanium egg into a soda can. It's quiet down here. It's not the silence of a library. It's a heavy silence, the kind of silence that has weight. The only sound is the rhythmic thrum, thrum, thrum of the oxygen recyclers and the occasional metallic groan of the station settling into the silt. For the first 300 days, it was beautiful. The creatures here are like living glass, transparent eels the size of subway trains, jellies that pulse with colors human eyes aren't supposed to see. But 3 days ago, the sensors picked up something new. It wasn't a biological signature. It wasn't seismic activity. It was a geometric anomaly. About 2 kilometers north of my position, in a trench that drops even deeper into the crust, the sonar mapped a structure. It was a perfect arch, 500 feet tall, smooth, artificial. I sent the drone, Rover 1, to investigate. I sat in the command chair, watching the feed on the main monitor. The grainy black and white camera footage showed the silt clouding up as the rover's thrusters pushed it forward. The darkness was absolute, illuminated only by the rover's spotlight. Then the arch appeared. It was made of a material that absorbed the light, a matte black stone or metal that didn't reflect a single photon. It stood there, impossible, jutting out of the seabed. Rover 1, begin structural scan. I set into the recorder, mostly just to hear my own voice. The rover moved closer, and then the feed cut. No static, no error message. The screen just went black. A moment later, the telemetry data died. Rover 1 was gone. I should have reported it to command immediately. The uplink window opens every 12 hours. I should have sent a data packet saying, I found an alien structure and it destroyed my equipment. But I didn't. I don't know why. I felt a sudden intense possessiveness. This was my discovery. I didn't want the drop ships coming down. I didn't want the noise. That night I tried to sleep, but the station felt different. The air tasted metallic, like chewing on aluminum foil. I woke up at 0300 station time to a sound. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from the reinforced glass of the viewport in the mess hall. I lay in my bunk, frozen. We are at 11,000 meters. The pressure outside is over 1,000 atmospheres. Nothing taps. Things either float by silently, or they implode. I got up and walked to the mess hall. The lights were dimmed to night cycle red. I approached the circular viewport, which is 3 feet of reinforced hyperglass. There was nothing outside but the black water. I pressed my hand against the cold glass. "Hello?" I whispered. Then I saw it. A light. It wasn't bioluminescence. It was a sharp, violet light, perfectly square, floating in the distance, and then another appeared next to it, and another. A grid of violet lights, forming in the abyss, slowly drifting closer to the station. My head began to throb. A low frequency, barely audible, started to vibrate the floor plates. It wasn't coming from the machinery. It was coming from outside. It was coming from the arch. I ran to the command deck to check the sensors. The readings were nonsensical. The external microphones were picking up a signal, but it wasn't sound. It was math. Complex, repeating algorithms playing out as audio waves. I listened to it over the speakers. It sounded like a choir of synthetic voices screaming in slow motion. I shouldn't have listened. As soon as the sound hit my ears, I felt a pop in my nose. I wiped my face. My hand came away bloody. I turned off the speakers, but the sound didn't stop. It was inside my head now, resonating in the fluid of my inner ear. I looked at the external camera feeds. The violet lights were closer. They weren't just lights. They were eyes. Thousands of square, glowing eyes, attached to a mass that was darker than the ocean around it. It was moving toward the station. I realized then that the arch wasn't a building. It was a doorway, and something had just stepped through. I tried to send the distress signal. I sat at the console, my fingers flying across the keys. Mayday, Outpost 4, breach imminent, unknown entity. But when I looked at the screen, I hadn't typed words. I had typed the pattern, the same geometric pattern the sensors had picked up. I hit backspace, trying to delete it, but my fingers wouldn't obey. They kept typing the code. The arch is open. The geometry is perfect. The flesh is redundant. I pulled my hands away from the keyboard, as if it were red hot. My fingers, they looked wrong. The joints were swollen, shifting. The skin was turning a translucent gray. The vibration grew louder. The station shook violently. A coffee mug rattled off the desk and shattered, but the pieces didn't fall to the floor. They hovered, suspended in the air, rotating in unison. Gravity was failing. Physics was failing. I floated out of the chair, gripping the console to anchor myself. I looked out the main viewport. The entity was here. It didn't look like a squid or a whale. It looked like a cloud of geometry, shifting fractals of black metal and violet light, twisting and folding in on itself. It was massive, dwarfing the station. It wasn't attacking. It was transmitting. The voice in my head became clear. It wasn't a language, but I understood it. It was downloading the history of 1 billion worlds into my frontal cortex. I saw stars dying. I saw civilizations consumed by living math. I saw the truth of the universe, and it was cold and structured and entirely devoid of mercy. I looked at my reflection in the dark monitor. My eyes were gone. In their place were 2 square, violet lights. The airlock warning light began to flash. Cycle initiated. I didn't press the button. The station was doing it. Or maybe I did it with my mind. The entity wanted in. Or maybe I wanted out. The outer door cycled open. The water should have rushed in. The pressure should have instantly crushed the station and me along with it. But the water didn't enter. The barrier between the ocean and the airlock dissolved, but the room remained dry. The violet light flooded in, blinding, beautiful. I am standing at the inner airlock door now. I can feel the cold radiating through the metal. I am going to open it. I have to see what's on the other side of the arch. I don't think I'm human anymore, so the pressure won't matter. The isolation is over. I am part of the equation now. If anyone receives this transmission, do not send a rescue team. Do not come looking for Outpost 4. We are not lost. We have been calculated, and the math is beautiful.